it was really badly done, and I was kind of mad at the game, but then the drama turned up after that, and it was really interesting. So I think that the events that happened after that portion did kind of make up for how bad that scene in the library was. Right, so we've got Workaholic Detective and Renegade Detective both dead. I'm kind of feeling like there might be one or two more chapters after this. One of which where we probably are gonna have something that goes down with Gourmet Detective, and then maybe the actual culprit was Doleful, or something like that. Hey Tenkai, how's it going? I just played Trails of Cold Steel for 5.5 hours. It was actually very lovely. It's so good to be back on Twitch streaming again. Just in time for your turn to die, Detective. Alright, let's do this. I forgot how much of a bop the song that plays at the game's title screen is. Oh boy. Alright, let's go. Renegade's lifeless face. Do you think you can reach headquarters? No, nothing's changed. The comms network is just as unstable as it was when we first arrived on the island. Still, it's already been a week since we lost contact. Assuming they've noticed something's off, help should arrive soon. There's no way we'll miss a rescue team as long as we're on the surface. Guess our best option is to sit tight and wait for now. Come to think of it, this lobby looks exactly like the one underground. Yes, I'm sure that's on purpose. The elevator has no button for going down below, and you can't get there without the special key. It was clearly meant to be kept secret. By the way, if this looks familiar, you guys, I think it's because we were forced to stop playing, at the screen where it starts an investigation, so we might be backtracking a little bit. Maybe it's designed like this so that even if pictures leaked, they could explain it away. It's likely that there were members in the research facility who, like me, didn't know about the underground sector. So, even with the organization, they really didn't want anyone knowing, huh? We all have to look around, and while there are traces of an explosion, there isn't anything too unusual that is apart from... Competent. I found Renegade Detective's head. Ugh, this is horrible. It's overwhelmingly graphic. By no means can we let Bookworm's photographic memory see it. We keep watch, ensuring the rest don't notice. The area where the collar was implanted is scorched, confirming the noise we heard before was in fact the collar detonating. So the cause of death really was the collar exploding. Hang on, Gourmet said he was caught between the elevator and floor and died from shock as it tore his head off. There was a gap in between the elevator doors, remember? Judging by the scorch marks on them, it was forcefully made by an exploding collar. And then the elevator started moving with his head stuck in the gap, which, you know, which tore it off. It's hard to imagine anyone doing something so sickening. The plan must have taken into account how old the elevator is, not to mention its lax security measures. Whatever the case, it's horrifying. Wait, there are burn marks on his neck, but that doesn't make sense if he wasn't killed by the explosion. It must have been the second explosion. Renegade Detective took a number of reserve collars with him, right? He probably used one of them to blast the elevator doors open, so maybe the second was the one on his neck going off. So the collar on his neck detonated after his head was already torn off. He may have had it coming, but it's hard not to feel for him. Yeah, it's hard to believe someone could think up a murder like this. The Quartering Duke's far crueler than we thought. I do wonder if maybe Renegade and Workaholic somehow killed each other? So the culprit detonated a reserve collar to force the elevator open, then stuck Renegade Detective's head in between the doors and escaped. When the elevator moved, it tore off Renegade Detective's head, which rolled to the ground, with its collar going off shortly after that. I go through all that effort. I can't make any sense of it. Why jump through all these hoops to kill Renegade Detective with the elevator specifically? It'd be way quicker and less risky to do away with him by hand. There's also this, which I'm guessing was made to mock us. It was attached to the elevator's operating panel. Doful takes a piece of notepad paper from his pocket. Scribbled upon it are the words, "Warning, this button may cause death." It really did mean death for Renegade Detective. Yeah, maybe Renegade Detective knew he was about to die and jotted this down as a joke. No. I was so tense when I pressed that button. This is nothing to laugh at, though. Then again, trying to inject humor into such a morbid situation would be so very like him. We finished examining his corpse and returned below ground. I found spare collars in his pocket, probably the same model that was implanted on him. Okay. Workaholic mentioned it before, but these devices can be remotely detonated via a transmitter, such as a D-pad. Oh, I'm remembering something here. Didn't we have a theory that, Ideal Detective could still be alive, and that we were just seeing a projection of her? And that while she's actually taking actions, we can't see her projection? Because she's been gone for a while. Yeah, I had a theory about that. I'm remembering at the last time we played. And I'm pretty sure they said that she had the password that could detonate, Renegade Detective's collars. All you'd have to do is use the messaging function to send a keyword to the target. To keep things simple, let's call this keyword a command. I've analyzed the internal data and confirmed that detonation requires a command from 3 or more devices. Meaning 3 or more D-pads. So basically, 3 or more detectives would have had to send those messages to Renegade Detective. Workaholic said that he needed my help with the detonation, so we plan to have me, himself, and an unknown third party use our D-pads to trigger it. Okay, so wait. Thank you for the stream streak, 10K. Wait a minute. The Quartering Duke is just Ideal Detective. Yeah. It has to be that. Ideal Detective is the unknown third party. And she sent a projection of herself to communicate with me because she knew she could control us. No, this is not a drunk theory. I think that's just how this game is gonna go. I firmly do not believe Ideal Detective is dead. Wait, didn't we have a theory about armor too? Okay, my head is gonna explode. Armor, we didn't see Armor's body die because they fell down that abyss. There is a lot of room for something fishy to be going on. Ideal Detective isn't dead. Of this, I'm almost certain. I'm 95% certain. By the way, there's also a security function that causes it to self-destruct when the back is pried open, preventing you from seeing any internal data. This is straight out of a spy movie. Couldn't that be used to trigger an explosion? It'd go off in under 10 seconds, and you can't open the back when it's attached, so it's hard to utilize systematically. At best, it could be a small bomb. If you could use one to bust open the elevator doors, but anything else beyond that would be a lot of extra trouble. Did the culprit sever Renegade Detective's collar, remove it, and then detonate it? No, that'd take too much time and leave even more evidence. It makes more sense for it to be detonated the standard way remotely. Can you tell which devices were used to do this? Unfortunately not. The detonated collar was blown to smithereens, so there's no way to check. What if they used the D-pads of those who've already died? The girl asked, presenting a third possibility. That could be a workaround, yes, but then again, they would each require fingerprint recognition. Oh my god! Yes, okay. Everything that we talked about 2 weeks ago is coming back. Fucking Armor Detective was collecting people's fingers. And is probably ideal detective. Still. Okay, yes, this theory actually does hold up. Because Armor Detective went back and got the finger and the D-pad of, Downtown Detective in the first trial. We don't know about the others, though. Like, I don't remember if Armor... I don't remember if he went back for, Rowdy Detectives or anything like that. Okay, let's just keep playing. Why not just cut off a finger from a corpse and take it with you, the girl replied. Good gracious! What a dangerous mind you have lingering behind that sweet face! Well, it is a possibility. One could easily carry around a severed finger or two. If the culprit is the quartering Duke, it's definitely not out of the question. But wait, Workaholic and Renegade mentioned an alternative method to triggering the detonation, right? Maybe the culprit used that instead. Good point. There's something we'll need to look into. Thanks for bringing it up. Also, we finished Workaholic's post-mortem report. The cause of death is cardiopulmonary arrest due to prolonged electrocution. The stab wounds on his chest imply that he fought someone, but they don't seem to have anything to do with how he actually died. Also, there's nothing off about the shutter. The underground research facility was totally cut off from the outside ever since we arrived. So that means the culprit is here somewhere. But we've all been moving about together, so our alibis line up perfectly. I am again reminded of Bookworm's remark about these killings being paradoxical. Both of them died at virtually the same time, one above ground and one below ground. If we fail to address that, we won't solve this case. Everyone's gaze instinctively turns towards me. I get it. It's become something of a pattern for an investigation to only really get going after I give. I can do this. I have to. I speak aloud, trying to encourage myself. Ideal detective isn't here, making this my first time taking charge all on my own. I'm nervous, but it's something I must do. Alright everyone, we could just head to the surface and call for help, leaving all this behind. But we're detectives. Whenever a case presents itself, our only option is to investigate it. A tragedy has occurred right before our eyes. It's up to us to reverse it. Everything about these two deaths is bizarre. Our investigation begins as we strive to detangle this mystery. So, this game did do something that I was hoping it would do from the very beginning. And that's that as the main cast starts to trust the main character more, they start out as controllable because they trust you. I like that detail a lot, actually. What is this? Okay. So, we need to inspect this. Actually, these are analyzed, right? I actually can't remember. Storm! Thank you for the 61 months, Storm. How are you tonight? Are you looking forward to Among Us later? Good evening. What are you up to in Discord, friend? Right. Let's analyze, inspect. Try and get a new MMO. Does this photo belong to Posh? Oh, we got a trophy. After dinner, in my infinite wisdom, I reflect upon the day's events and chart out our next course, as one would expect from a chief detective. It has been an entire 24 hours since our imprisonment within this manor, a rather precarious situation, to say the least. Although we have access to multiple provisions, morale will inevitably crumble in due time. Those with such temperaments as rowdies, blunt with a strong sense of justice, could run amok at any moment. I must keep them in check. Though I feel ideal detective, that is Holmes, would have done a finer job of doing so. I recall the face of my eternal competitor. Ultimately, I was never able to best her. A knock sounds at the door, breaking me out of my reverie. Keeping my guard up, I open the door to see Workaholic. In his hands, he holds a teapot that I remember spotting in the dining room. I saw on the security camera that you were still up. If there's something on your mind, would you like to discuss it over tea? My, aren't you a perceptive one? For a commoner, I shall humbly accept your offer. Black tea is mental fuel for a noblewoman. After all, Workaholic beckons me to sit on the bed before pouring some into cups on the desk. After adding in my preferred amount of sugar, he proffers the drink to me with meticulously practiced ease. The full-bodied aroma wafting from the cup soothes my weary mind. From the looks of it, you've been overworking yourself since yesterday. Are you doing all right? Overworking myself? Preposterous. I'll thank you not to think so little of the aristocracy. No need to put on a strong front. Weren't you and the chief on close terms? She'd always go on about how you were going to blossom one day. Holmes said that about me? And in spite of her constant mockery too, to think she would leave such a sentiment behind upon hearing her demise, The yellow-bellied coward. I nearly speak with vitriol aloud before I realize the words will not reach her, quietly swallowing my vexation. I'm well aware of your circumstances, all the pressure you're under to rebuild your family's standing. Only you would continue to use your legal name in spite of the risks. Ariel Allen Pinkerton. I find your commitment impressive, actually. Having said that, it's also cause for concern. I fear you'll grind yourself down to nothing, the way our old chief did when she died defending us. So where's Rosen? I feel like Rosen is my names catalog. I almost wish I had the Akihiko notebook. You hope she dies before the end of the game? No! I would be sad if she died. She and Bookie are my ride or dies. Honestly, I would be surprised. I think maybe one more character will die and then that'll be it. You don't know people's names, but you remembered some of them. Gourmet Detective was... like... Nikita, I think? Some Russian name. And Rowdy was Akane. What's weird is we only get their names in these memories. And I'm kind of curious as to why. He has me pegged. I feel my voice hitch in my throat. However, a proper chief cannot allow such commentary to faze them. Thus, I maintain a cool demeanor and give my reply. Bear in mind, I am of society's upper crust. Thus, it is my duty to suffer on behalf of the common people. As acting chief, I have an obligation to protect those around me for Holmes' sake as well. So please do not trouble yourself over this. Got it. You're right. If things were that simple, you wouldn't be struggling with this. I just hope the day comes when you let yourself cooperate with those around you, rather than trying to shoulder everything on your own. It's too late for some folks, like me and that old chief. With that, Workaholic excuses himself. Left in my own company, I begin to ruminate upon his words. It was too late for Holmes and Workaholic, was it? Well, bah to that. I refuse to change either. Since my birth, no other soul has tried in earnest to restore the Pinkerton name. Far from assisting my endeavors, many have taken to mockery instead. But trials by fire are all that I know, and I am of no mind to alter my methods. Rest assured, Holmes, even if it should claim my life, I shall oust your killer and see this group home safely. Well aware that she cannot hear me, I voice this proclamation to my lifelong rival nonetheless. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I need to analyze. Her inspection range is 3. So wait. She could analyze that in one turn. I wonder if that's worth it. Her analyzation is so good. Okay, so he's gonna inspect that. I guess she's gonna... infer. Wait, her inference is 6. Did I completely over- Why are there so many stats that seem like samey sounding? What's preliminary? There's something on the floor! It's the remote for the AC? What's it doing here? Okay, so something to cause a power outage, probably. Excess electricity usage causes breakers to shut off. Father always warned me not to run the AC and microwave at the same time. The culprit tripped the breakers, prompting a blackout without directly interfering with the distribution, surmised the girl. Alright, so that appeared. I can't go to it yet. If I put her here, and then I inspect... Why, if it isn't a rubber wristband for guests? Who dropped it here? We need to return it from whence it came. A rubber wristband? Why? Can I... Her analyze is 3. Okay, let's analyze the distribution. I see. The fan speed and temperature are at max, and the timer is set to before the act. No doubt this remote was part of the crime. Oh, hello, Kisuan. The VN is going very well. How are you tonight? Also, just an FYI, there will be a Pig Nation killing game tonight, so sharpen your knives. We love the process of Panglimation. Oh, okay. There's an 11 over there. Holy shit. So, there's something in that room. Let's move over here and we'll analyze on this turn while we're moving. Sure. Do you need like an overall summary of the game, or have you watched it up to a point? Okay, so the overall summary of this game's plot would be, there's a serial killer called the Quartering Duke, who kills people on, like, he takes over live streams and then kills his victims in front of an audience before giving the feed back to, like, whatever the broadcast was. So there's a group of special detectives working on this case in something called the Detective Alliance, or the DA, and your main character is brought to an island, which is the base of the DA. You meet up with the other detectives, and you have reason to believe that the Quartering Duke is one of the people in the group with you. However, finding out who that is has proven difficult, and there are lots of traps and killer robots all throughout the island. So, basically, you're trying to avoid dying to traps while you suspect the detectives working with you, as members of your group are slowly being killed one by one, and you investigate them in hopes of discovering who the Quartering Duke is. That's probably the most general way I could put it. Okay, we're gonna analyze. Right, let's go ahead and see what's going on. Oh, no worries, Kisuan. You know, it's one of the struggles with, like, playing games that are very story-based. It's why viewership is not super high for them on Twitch. It's like, people just purely can't make it to every episode, so it's kind of on me to keep track of what's going on, and then I can just fill in the blanks when people are able to make it, so no problem. Yup, this wristband glows in the dark, so it was used to find Workaholic during the outage. Plus, it could insulate him from the electrified cuffs. Oh. Okay, that's everybody. Unless if it's Fada, and then people feel compelled to watch the VODs. Yeah, for whatever reason, I feel like this game didn't grab the attention of as many people. Which I can see. I think this game is doing some things better than Fata Morgana, but for the most part, Fata Morgana was a better game. This game is interesting, and it has decent pacing, which I appreciate. It also has this fun, like, investigating gameplay aspect that I do enjoy. You're waiting for a one-hit wonder like Paranorma Sight? Yeah, this definitely doesn't feel as good as Paranorma Sight did, but I don't think this game is bad by any regard. It's just, like, not wowing. A bloodstain? But whose blood is it? I need to analyze this, quick! Bloodstain in the shower. Wait, word. Wait, I go? What if I were to go there? Can she inspect? Yeah, she can. I don't know much about these gadgets, but I do know this is a broken USB stick, the girl said, demonstrating her comprehensive knowledge. Hi. Okay, I am gonna have her go to help. But while I do that, let's see if we can't investigate. Difficulty 5 on both of these analyzes is kind of toxic. Maybe I'll do her turn later. His analyzation is only 2. And his inspection is range 5, so like... Okay, so we got a key worker. What do we have? We still have her. Her inference is only 2, though, which is kind of shit. That's a 15. Movement is 7, so she could go... right here. Right, okay. So... let's move her as far as she can go. And then we're gonna analyze the difficulty 1. This book contains info about a manor. It was designed by the architect, Meicho Aragi. Well, no wonder it's full of deadly traps. What does that mean? Right, so then we have... MC. And I still need to collect all these points. So let's actually move him, like, all the way over here. That just leaves Posh. Her analyzation is 5. You know what? It makes sense to analyze this turn. Incompetent aside, only Workaholic was bleeding. He fought somebody prior to being electrocuted and washed his wounds in the shower. Really? Okay. How am I even gonna get over there? Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, so I'm gonna go here. And infer. And then I'm gonna have her go here and assist. And I'm gonna have her here and get that next turn. MC can expect. Yeah. Got that. We still need to analyze another point. So I'm gonna and then analyze. There was another 5. Yeah, the shattered USB. Okay, the memory chip is intact. There's a special method for triggering the collar save on it. I'll do a thorough analysis and report back. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think I could move him there, and then that's in his inspection range. Nice. So that leaves... I think we moved everybody, right? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So I'll have to uncover this. His inference is only 2. What is high inference? Well, actually, hold on. Is this 3? So it'd be 3 plus 6. We could get it done in 2 turns. His movement is 8. He wouldn't get close enough. Alright. So I'm gonna move him in here. And I'm gonna move him... there. If I move him all the way over here, can he get there with his tech? Oh, hey, Ja. Alright, preliminary. Cool. I actually can't see what this number is. It's 3. Which I think I can get just with her, so I could... Okay. Yeah. So let me infer. I know, this song is such a bop. Yeah, I'm gonna have her go get that. Preliminary. Workaholic's wrist burns prove he was shocked by the handcuffs. Maybe the electrocution was delayed by keeping the cuffs off the skin. Workaholic's body. Is that something I can analyze? No. So I could move her over here. No. I could move her here, and then we could get this done in one turn. Okay. Cool, so we've almost gotten everything. Everyone has been moved for this turn, so let's just move to the next one. It's an 11. And our strongest inference is... Him. Yeah, let's move incompetent next to him. And then he can assist. And then her next to him, and she can assist. And then this one can inspect. There we go. I've checked every PC in here. They were forced to shut down, so they were all on when the outage hit. What if the culprit used them to trip the breaker? Oh, that's interesting. Is that analyzable? No. Okay. I don't remember. I think we have to, analyze? No, we have to infer on these in order to break them. Should be pretty easy to do, though. His inference is 4. So I'm gonna have him start taking these down. And that just leaves her. Great. Okay, so... I disarmed the bomb, just like Techie taught me to. Everything should be fine now. Oh, that was great. Good job, Doleful. Wow, so her inference also would be strong enough to one-round these. That's pretty damn good. So her inspection is range 4, so I could do 1, 2, 4, and inspect. Alright, so this should be easy peasy from here on out, I think. As long as we don't step in the pits with anybody. I like how the first investigation that you do was actually super hard, and then the other ones have been relatively easy. Okay. Well, there could still be something that surprises me, so I shouldn't act like I've beaten it already, but yeah. Alright, so yeah, she just infers. And then he just infers. Is this renegade detective's parting gift from the netherworld? The girl asked, petting the stuffed animal and disabling the bomb as Teki instructed. Great. Yeah, you go here and inspect. Oh, you can't make it. Yeah, okay. Let's go over here then. Sure. Can you let his guard down, then suddenly 3 houses ambush Falcos? Please no. Not the infinite pass reinforcements. I still haven't recovered from that, and I'm not sure if I ever will. Yeah, leave it all to One-san. Got it. Alright. We should be able to beat this next turn, I think. So our highest inference is Gourmet. So we're gonna infer. I should be able to just stack assistance next to her and then we're done. Keyboard liquor. Ew, I'm so sad that that happened. Alright, check this. Mega Salt! Oh, we got a trophy. Renegade has no wounds that suggest an assault. His neck was abruptly severed, an instant kill. How'd they do that with a loose cannon like him? Yeah. Investigation complete. Okay, that wasn't too bad. There was no invisible murder machines target employees that time. We reconvene in the ground floor lobby after completing our investigation. Ew, I don't even remember why she licked the keyboard. It was to, like, figure out if someone had recently typed on it or something, like, so disgusting. Just thinking of licking a keyboard, like, seriously grosses me out.
Oh my god!
Yeah. By the way, guys, it is 5:30 and it is freaking pitch black out and I don't know how to feel about it. She was trying to suss out the password by licking to detect the keys that were pressed. That's right! She's like, there's dead skin on these keys. Anyways. At long last, we have made it to the surface, though it's a hollow victory so long as we're unable to make a distress call. Still, at least we're above ground now. If a rescue ship appears, we should be able to signal it. We've been cut off from the communication for over a week, so help should arrive at any moment. It's good that we're back up here. There's just one problem. We still don't know how Workaholic and Renegade Detective died. It would be a major problem if the culprit is in fact one of us. We need to find the truth before help arrives. Yeah, you're right. Let's start by getting the facts of this case in order. I suppose the greatest mystery is, who was it that triggered Renegade's collar? Ideal Detective is my... Before we hash out the actual details of this case, I'm gonna say, Ideal Detective is alive. And she was in the suit of armor. And Armor Detective fell down that hole, but it was actually Ideal Detective in there. And she's been collecting people's fingers so that she could blow up Renegade Detective. I don't know why she waited until now to do it, so maybe that will come up. But for real, that's my current running theory. It required 3 D-pads to send a command to his, correct? If Workaholic was one, who were the other 2? Let's refer to whomever secretly harbors these murderous thoughts toward Renegade Detective as Judases for now. To reiterate, the detonation necessitates 3 commands. If Workaholic sent one, we are left with 2, meaning there are 2 Judases apart from Workaholic, said the girl, hinting at a possibility she preferred not to consider. It's okay, Bookworm. I suspect that there were Judases among us too at first. But, as I investigated, I realized I was wrong. No one here could have sent a command. Renegade fell for the culprit's scheme, fulfilling the secret conditions to trigger his collar. Secret conditions? What else was there besides sending those command words? The rules were hidden on the broken USB. One of us should be able to explain it. And obviously Techie. Techie, you can explain it, right? Yes, that USB was found dropped in the facility. It contained the files that were taken from that PC in the lab. The ones regarding the callers. Whoever smashed the USB hoped to destroy it, but its actual storage space is so tiny that the data was still intact after the fact. Just what sort of guidelines does Renegade's caller have? The culprit used them to kill the man himself, did they not? Yes, the culprit understood these rules and predicted what steps Renegade would take. In order to kill Renegade, they were prepared to put their own life at stake. Literally. What? You couldn't possibly mean... Workaholic. Renegade Detective's killer was Workaholic. He's both a victim and a culprit in this case. He leveraged the rules by dying to detonate Renegade Detective's collar. Bah! Enough with this putting on airs! What precisely are these rules? If a detective designated an observer died within a 10-meter radius of Renegade's D-pad, that would also trigger a command message. If a detective designated as an observer died within a 10-meter radius of Renegade's D-pad, that would also trigger a command message. So, okay, what that means is everybody in our group is considered an observer? Observers have a chip implant that connects to their heartbeat. An automatic command is sent if they go into cardiopulmonary arrest. How positively ghastly! Just what are these observers anyway? Couldn't answer that, but I can speculate who they are based on all that's happened so far. First there's Workaholic. There's no doubt that he's at the center of all this. Then there's me. Workaholic made that perfectly clear. You mean to say there's some manner of chip inside you? Yeah, I think I was unconscious for a few days before waking up on the island. It could have been implanted then. Or actually, Workaholic knew, so it might have been implanted while I was captive 10 years ago. After all, the third person went through the same ordeal. Which means the third observer is... Yes, Ideal Detective. She threatened to detonate Renegade Detective's collar when he attacked me, the first time we met. He was likely within 10 meters of where Ideal Detective was killed, so one command has already been triggered. Oh, he was with us when that happened. Essentially, Renegade was destined to die after 2 more commands. Huh? But I thought Renegade Detective was pretty far away back when Ideal died. Not to mention, she's been dead for a week now. Does the command remain in effect? From what I recall, he might have been just barely in range, so either the command reached him, or she expected him to go rogue and set it in advance. It's plausible for a detective to wind up trapped with a collared individual, just like we were, so once sent, the command probably wouldn't expire. Detonation requires 3 commands. 1 each from 3 observers total, meaning you need consent from all of them to trigger the caller. That would explain why Workaholic pushed so hard to persuade you, incompetent detective, the girl said, recollecting the events thus far. Wait a sec. If a command gets sent at the time of death, isn't something still off? Even if Ideal and Workaholic's commands were sent when they died, you'd still need another person, right? Isn't that the reason Workaholic was pressuring you so much, incompetent? To try and get you to go along with the plan? Didn't they say he wasn't killed by the caller? They said he was killed by the elevator. Okay. Right, that's the tricky part. But the answer's easy, really. A normal command and one sent due to cardiopulmonary arrest are considered distinct from one another. So if you send a command and then died afterward, you would essentially be sending 2 commands. And how would you know that it even works like that? Where did you come across this information? I don't believe Workaholic ever spoke a single word of this, did he? Exactly. That was all part of his trap. Pressing me was part of the plan too, I bet. Him not being able to detonate the caller without my help was just a lie to put Renegade off his guard. He probably had no clue that the caller would go off if Workaholic died nearby. Workaholic would be thrilled so long as he slew Renegade, even if things took a grim turn and he were killed. This would allow him to strike back. It would appear that Workaholic's willingness to stake his life on this was no exaggeration. I have to wonder, did he intend to die from the very beginning? Oh, I don't think so. I think he tried to survive to the bitter end. Yeah, I agree. If he had always planned to give his life, he wouldn't have gone through so much trouble to commit that murder back in the dungeon. But I think Workaholic was so determined to put an end to Renegade that he was prepared for the slim chance they'd end up going to the grave together. But it'd all be in vain if Renegade knew how commands worked. Workaholic tried to keep him unaware by extracting the PC's data onto the USB. But as Workaholic feared, he was killed by Renegade, causing the latter to die in turn. Their fates remained entwined until the end. Hold on a moment, if Renegade really did kill Workaholic, how did he go about it? Incompetent and I were locked in combat against Renegade right up until Workaholic was murdered. While I despise coming to Renegade's defense like this, I am reluctant to believe that he was able to trip the breakers or restrain Workaholic. The electrocution involved a very simple trick. You see, the culprit had a system in place to control the timing of the outage. Electrocution only requires an active current. In other words, you won't be shocked so long as electricity isn't flowing. This case appears complex, but it's actually a fairly basic gimmick. The electrocution's timing was controlled by an announcement causing a blackout, summoning. Causing a blackout? That's right. The culprit controlled the timing of the electrocution by intentionally causing a blackout. The outage was certainly deliberate, but could one truly arrange an electrocution right in the middle of it? When the facility went dark, we were unable to see a thing without a light source. Such lowbrow intuition for one so high class, the girl said. Despite her vexation, she carries on with the benevolence rivaling Virgin Mary's. Recall the condition Workaholic was found in. With him in handcuffs and doused in water, it would be easy to electrocute. It would prove difficult to restrain a person in this manner. You would only have a few minutes from the breaker tripping to the lights returning. Perhaps so, but the culprit used a simple tool to create a setup that hindered electrocution. The wristband. Hey, Blackbird. Happy Saturday. You know what was used, right, incompetent detective? Asked the girl, passing the buck as she so often did. The unexpected question startles me. But it's fine. I've been keeping up with our investigation, so a question like this was no problem at all. It was the rubber wristband. It was the rubber wristband on the floor nearby, wasn't it? Isn't that one of those visitor bands from the lab? Workaholic used one to unlock the doors. It seems strange for it to end up on the floor of the crime scene. Obviously, it's no coincidence. This wristband was instrumental to how the culprit electrocuted Workaholic. Before the outage, Workaholic was restrained while wearing the wristband. That way, it wouldn't matter if the current was on. The band would act as an insulator, stopping the electricity from reaching him. Then, while the power was out, the culprit removed the wristband, ensuring electrocution would occur once the power returned. The current flowed for minutes before we arrived. No amount of struggling would have staved off death, the girl said, contemplating its theory. But what's weird about this is, doesn't this sound like it was suicide by Workaholic? Why are they saying that, like, there's a culprit that did this to him? He clearly did this intentionally to kill Renegade. Right? But there was a blackout, remember? How did they remove the wristband in the dark? Which, if there is a culprit, it probably is Doleful because he's the only one that's fighting us on the information that we're providing. I think the only way this works is if Workaholic suicided. That's it. The band is phosphorescent, just like that paint in the dungeon. It wouldn't have been hard to locate him, even in the dark. Of course, in fact, tripping the breakers was part of their plan too. The whole thing was orchestrated from the start. So whoever shut off the circuits is the culprit! Who was it that touched the distribution board and disrupted the power? Thing is, the breakers tripped on their own. I beg your pardon? Oh, that's good. That means we don't have to have Gourmet lick the freaking breaker. That couldn't possibly be the case. A noblewoman such as myself may be ignorant in the ways of the world, but do not take me for a fool. Actually, it is possible. In fact, the lights in here are about to go out again shortly. What? Of their own volition? Doleful, can you reset the breakers? On it. After a moment, the room's lights flicker back on. See? You can cut off the power without messing with the breakers. Dispense with your showboating and tell us how it works, in nobleman's terms, if you please. Urged on by Posh, I begin my explanation. When we turned on the lab's AC, the airstream moved the mouse. What? Okay. Okay. When has an air conditioner fan ever moved a computer mouse. I know this is anime detective land, but that is absurd. I mean, to be fair, they are at the base. They're at the base of a volcano, right? So the air conditioners would probably have to be pretty strong, but still. Like, ain't no way a normal computer mouse is getting moved by an air conditioner. I recall, the computer was asleep, but when the air conditioning jostled the mouse, it awoke. Your point being? Only way that is happening is you left your mouse on an air hockey table, right? What in the gravel in the swimsuit logic? Oh my god, Tom. So I've been playing Danganronpa, with my boyfriend, and we just completed chapter 2 of Danganronpa 2, and he got completely stumped by that nonstop debate. He's playing blind, yeah. I'm just sitting there watching and like adding commentary, but not wondering, like not spoiling anything. But that was the first time in either of the games that he was like,
it's funny, really.
He was like, okay, tell me what this is. My hint to it was, I'm like, you have to really use your imagination. Like, oh, yes, he messed up that too. He did what I did. So that means I'm not crazy, by the way, because 2 people did it. But yes, we only got to the beginning of chapter 3 before he had to go home, so we're gonna finish it next time I see him. But, yeah, he's loving Danganronpa. Like, the first time he visited back in, September, we played through all of Danganronpa 1 in 1 week. Which was a lot. One day I'll finish DR2. DR2, in retrospect, is the best game in the series. I had nostalgia for DR1 a lot because of the cast. And I do love DR1, don't get me wrong. But I think my 2024 opinion, like, reflection on Danganronpa is that DR2 is, like, actually a step above both of the other games. But my truly woke 2024 visual novels opinion, the best visual novel we have ever played is 13 Sentinels. I also feel like I underrated Somnium Files 1. Somnium Files 1 is really fucking good. Yeah. It had a rough first episode because I wasn't prepared. But yeah, Somnium Files 1 is like... I should revise the ratings, honestly. Now that we played a lot of visual novels. So I would still say, out of everything we've played, Danganronpa is my favorite. But the objectively best visual novel we've played is 13 Sentinels. It would be like in order in my official Pengy-chan order of things. 13 Sentinels is the best, followed by Danganronpa 2, followed by Virtue's Last Reward, followed by, am I wild enough to do this? Paranormacite. And then 5 is Buried Stars. The Danganronpa fanfic is still under construction. I think in my official opinion, those are the top 5 VNs that we've played. Yeah, like, I think Paranormacite was so good, I would rate it at 4th. If we're not doing duplicate games in the same series, so I can't be like, my favorite is Danganronpa 2, 1, and 3. No. If we're just gonna do, like, purely series, my favorite 5 visual novels that we've played, 13 Sentinels, Danganronpa 2, VLR, Paranormacite, and Buried Stars. And then there's a bunch of really good ones sitting right outside that category, like Somnium 1 for sure would be there. The rest of Zero Escape, meaning 999 and not the other one. The rest of Danganronpa. Great Ace Attorney 2. What am I... Oh, by the way, guys, you know what's apparently really good? Play ZTD with Toast-chan. We're gonna play it. Me and him are actually also playing Raging Loop off stream, which Raging Loop is a really interesting game. But yeah, what I was gonna say, to finish a thought, apparently the Famicom Detective Club newest one that came out this year is apparently very good. So I will be, it's on my 2025 list for sure. Yeah, I'm just thinking, Process of Elimination is probably gonna last a few more weeks, and then we're gonna do Ace Attorney 1, and then I want to do Ghost Train. I think that's like the visual novel queue right now. Using the same principle, Wolfred turned all the lab PCs on at the same time. You know, okay, something about this game. Let's make this a little more relevant to what we're doing. I think this game has the building blocks to be super interesting and good, but one of the things that falls through for me a little bit is this, like what's happening right now. The discussion where you discern what happened, you literally just kind of read it and get new information and accept it. There's no, like, I feel like the game should make the player use things to come to that conclusion instead of the characters just telling you. And in this case, it's the main character telling you things that you don't know. It's like, what? It feels like there's a disconnect during these scenes for me a bit. Because I feel like they do a really good job of making the mysteries somewhat intricate, but there's no, like, extra aspect to make the player come to the conclusion. The game just tells you. And then you're like, oh. So that's what happened. Okay. Like, it feels very... okay, so that's what happened. Do you guys agree with me? Like, they go to a lot of trouble to basically essentially write what comes across as like an absurd Danganronpa level murder, but you don't actually really solve any of it. You just like find details, and then the game explains what the details mean. And there's no like middle ground. And as much as I like to shit on like the Danganronpa minigames and stuff like that, something like that to help you arrive at a conclusion actually helps a lot. So I guess that's all I will say about that. But that is kind of the impression that this game is leaving me with, where I'm just kind of like, dang, y'all got like 70% of what would make this cool and interesting, but then kind of flubbed the delivery. So now I'm just like, okay, we're along for the ride, but I can pretty much say with confidence that the game is just gonna tell us what happened, and we will just accept it and move on. Alright, rant over. The AC in the lab is powerful. The computers were all in sleep mode. Isn't it possible for them all to wake up at the same time? For any appliance, it's the startup that consumes the most power. Turning on that many PCs at the same time caused a spike, tripping the breakers. Also, the AC has a feature where you can set it to switch on at a certain time. Arrange things beforehand, and all you'd have to do is wait. I see. By using this maneuver, one could trigger a blackout whenever they so wished. Thus, Renegade Detective laid this trap, murdering Workaholic while fighting us to create an alibi. But not long after, he himself met a cruel end. What happened to Renegade Detective Incompetent? Tell us the full story. Okay, I'll go over it all from the beginning. Everything that brought about this bizarre case that occurred simultaneously on multiple floors. We presume these cases were linked, but in truth they're completely separate events, ultimately resulting in two connected deaths. First off, Workaholic, one of the victims, sent a command so he could kill Renegade, even in the event of his own death. According to the rules, if I had also sent a command, or if Workaholic's heart stopped, Renegade's collar would detonate. Unaware of all this, Renegade Detective started to corral us and Workaholic. Given the state of the body, Renegade clashed with Workaholic and tied him up somewhere before luring us using an announcement. Once Posh was successfully taken hostage, he began making preparations to shut off the breakers and electrocute Workaholic. It was a simple trick. He cuffed the unconscious Workaholic, using the wristband as an insulator. Then he attached the wires to the cuffs. Remove the band and Workaholic would fry. Remove the band and Workaholic would fry. All he had to do was carry out his scheme. To carry out his scheme was lure in and fight Incompetent until the breakers tripped. The appalling actions he directed at Incompetent were merely a gambit with which to divide our ranks. Ultimately, we failed to capitalize on our superior numbers, causing our efforts to be disjointed. Yeah. He had us on a string the whole time. As planned, the breaker shut off, and Renegade used that opening to slip away. From there, he hurried to where Workaholic was tied up. He located the glowing band, slipped it off Workaholic's arm, went to the distribution board, and reset the breaker. And then, with no insulation, Workaholic was helplessly executed. At the same moment, power went to the fire hydrant, triggering the alarm, right? Maybe the alarm going off was a coincidence. Renegade had plenty of callers with him, right? It could be that he originally planned to lead us around by making them explode. Either way, he used the drawn-out murder method as a means of getting our attention, included the girl. Exactly. Just like the culprit intended, we were distracted by the alarm and slow to realize that Renegade was riding the surface. But Renegade Detective never figured out that killing Workaholic would fulfill the conditions to trigger the collar. As a result, he himself died, creating a case built on chain reactions. Their differing goals aligned, forming a bizarre picture for us to piece together. Still, it doesn't leave the actual manner of Renegade's death in question. You said so before our investigation. Renegade's death was not due to the collar's detonation, but by his head getting stuck in the elevator, no? The elevator's doors won't budge, probably because it was broken. He had to force them apart when it arrived on this floor too, right? Renegade must have faced the same situation. I see. Having lost an arm, he used the collars to blow it open. Yeah, but he only managed to make a small gap and struggled through it. At the same time, the elevator began to move and he perished. Oddly final moments for a man like him. I'm sure that even Renegade would panic then. He also left that strange note on the elevator warning, this button may cause death. What you have to STX. And unlike us, he didn't know he had time before his collar exploded. It makes sense that he would lose his cool and start acting out. Essentially, each of these two deaths was inadvertently caused by the other. It seems like an unsolvable double murder at first, but the perpetrator unwittingly took their own life when they killed Workaholic. Culprit's obvious. I mean, they just killed each other. Renegade Detective is the culprit responsible for both. Suddenly, the face Renegade wore in death flashes through my mind. He was smiling. He should have been panicking as his doom drew near. That'd explain why he did something so illogical, but his satisfied expression gives me pause. Is my theory wrong? If Renegade Detective is the culprit, this case is closed. The most suspicious person of all got what was coming to him, death. Workaholic and Renegade. Their bond ended in mutual destruction. It leaves a bitter taste, but from here, all we need to do is wait for help without any mishaps. It's the best possible outcome for us. So why am I still so uneasy? Right. I realize why my concern lives. It's my lack of faith in my own abilities. In the end, I still have confidence. Till now, Holmes has always been there to keep me afloat. When I was uncertain, she'd smile and tell me it was okay. She was my courage. But now she's nowhere to be found. Not having her here makes it really hit home just how much support she gave me. Holmes, is my line of reasoning correct here? Please tell me. Show yourself, Holmes, please. Just then, sparks flare past my eye. In my perfectly clear vision, right? Yeah. If this is the vision at the end of the tunnel, then it would seem you won't be carrying on the ideal detective name after all. You're the voice of someone I've longed to see. Saika. That name from so long ago slips past my lips. Holmes offers a sweet smile and reply. Oh good, you're finally calling me by that name. You ought to remember now. You were never so professional around me. It always felt off, like someone was constantly poking at my ribs. Why were you gone for so long and where is this? I told you at the beginning, didn't I? My final regrets birthed me as a residual memory. You protected me once, so I took your place, assuming the mantle of ideal detective that was intended to fall on your shoulders. But alas, I lost to the Duke, slain before I could achieve my aims. And now, in spite of all that you lack, you are to become ideal detective once more. Ultimately, I am a product of my own guilt. As such, you remembering everything has now relieved me of my duty. My downtime has been steadily increasing as you regain memories. My existence continues to fade as my mission is to completion. Soon my consciousness will be completely gone, and never more will be able to speak. To put it poetically, I shall suffer a second death. A second death? Does that mean we'll never get to meet again? I wonder. Wait, but I finally remembered who you are. This isn't fair. I reached my hand out to touch Saika, but my hand slipped through her like I'm grasping at fog. I can see her so clearly, yet I can't even feel her. What? But I was able to touch you before in my dreams. Don't be sad, Watto. In reality, I died after sharing only a few words with you. I detested the denouement for showing me nothing but tragedy. Still, it did let us see each other one last time. So for that, I'm thankful. So wait, does this mean my whole theory about ideal detective being the Quartering Duke is wrong? Well, that's awkward. No, don't go yet, Saika. I still have so much to learn as a detective. There's so much more I want to talk with you about. Stay with me, keep teaching me. Oh, Watto, how sly of you. Here I was prepared to die, but at the last minute, you make me want to linger on. Saika stretches her hand toward my face, its transparent glass. The scenery beyond us is visible in her tearful eyes. But this is no time for crying. What you are about to see is a potential tragedy. What? I turned only to be confronted by mountains of corpses more than I'd seen before. What kind of vision is this? It's far different from any other premonition I've had. This vivid collage of death appears unmistakable. These bodies, what happened? As there is nothing to be gleaned from bodies, this is likely only a glimpse of calamity. But if nothing changes, he will surely die in time. This is the future I saw while investigating Duke. It's precisely why I moved with haste to usher everyone to HQ. Quartering Duke must have predicted I would make that call. But Renegade's dead. Wasn't he the prime suspect? Quartering Duke should be defeated, so how? That you can see this vision is answer enough. You feel it too deep down, don't you? You know the Quartering Duke wouldn't be so easily. Can't argue back. I know it to be true. My hunch became certain the moment I saw the departed Renegade's face. The Quartering Duke lives. The case will continue. If he escapes this island, all the tragedies that befell us would be for naught. These bodies are the Quartering Duke's future victims, aren't they? Yes, I believe so. Each of them may die in different ways, but there's no doubt that a mountain of corpses will be left in his wake. This possible tragedy has been thrust before you, the kind you may rather not even think about, such as the denouement's binding curse. Those who possess it can never avert their eyes from tragedy. They are obligated to reverse it. There may even come a day when you'll wish you had been killed by renegades. Saika chuckles as if to intimidate me. So tell me, Watto, what will you do? Like I told you before, I can no longer help you. You would have to face the tragedies to come on your own. The kinds you've seen on Morgue would become regular events. Each day would be harsh with precious little joy. Even life as Watto Hojo would be challenging. Yet despite all that, are you still prepared to take on the role of ideal detective? Saika's purple eyes pierced through me. When I first arrived here, I wouldn't have been able to answer. I knew nothing back then. I had even forgotten my own past. I didn't even realize I was experiencing a 10 years in the making. In fact, for all that time, I believed my false memories. I thought I couldn't save her. I led a carefree life that forced a cruel fate on Saika. Now that I remember it all, I can't fathom. I refuse to. Because above all else, there's no way I'm letting you die, Saika. Now I see what Renegade Detective meant. In the end, I failed to protect you, Saika. And now it turns out that I'll have to watch you die again, but I refuse to let you go. I've made up my mind. I'm taking responsibility for your life, including the fate you to bear. Are you sure? It isn't too late to turn back now. My words, your remembered past, the denouement, you could excuse it all as a delusion and return to life as you knew it, in all its normality. In the face of all that, are you truly still committed to being a detective? I am. I'll dedicate my life to being a detective. I know it's easier to call it quits, but I'm sick of shielding my eyes from every tragedy. Why do I feel like this is a bad end? I may still be a rookie, and I may never reach the heights you did, Saika, but I'll use the denouement to play my part as ideal detective. Very well. You know everything now, yet you still choose to walk the cruelest path. Nothing's changed in the past 10 years. You're still an utter fool shouldering it all alone. Someday, you'll surely come to regret this. Though I suppose warning you won't do much good. I learned long ago how stubborn you are. But that's precisely why I adore you so. Saika. Saika's body grows hazy like a fine mist. I reach out, but she still escapes my grasp. I finally caught up to her, and yet now I can't touch her. I'll be perfectly frank, Watto. I'd hoped you wouldn't remember anything. If you hadn't, my regrets would have lingered, allowing me to stay by your side forever. That way, you'd never have to face your dark past. Though, of course, you would never wish for such a thing. So that's why you didn't tell me what happened 10 years ago. Yes, I'm quite a selfish woman, aren't I? Ultimately, I used you for my own purposes, even up to this very moment. I pray that you resent me. From the very start, I was never once the detective you so revered. As if I could ever hold that against you. You know better than anyone how hard it is to bear the title of Ideal Detective. That's why you wanted to hide my past as the original Ideal Detective, and the fact that you had taken my place, am I right? You haven't changed either. Your kind-hearted nature makes you throw yourself into the line of fire for the sake of others. I'm so sorry I couldn't remember until now. But all the same, you never stopped looking out for me, even once, so thank you, Saika. Saika's expression flickers as tears well up in her eyes. Then her face crinkles into a proud smile. And I was being so calculated, too. I never hoped for any gratitude, but I'm a right mess after hearing you say all that. The role of Ideal Detective is no ordinary path, it's true. You will encounter far more tragedy than what you've already witnessed. Still, given who you are, you'll be just fine, no matter what adversity befalls you. You'll find a way to reverse it, as the greatest of detectives. Saika continues to dissipate, seemingly melting. Here's my final word of advice, as one once cast as the Ideal Detective. The denouement does not merely predict the future, rather, it sees all. Visit a place you've been before, and you'll likely discover something new. Reflect upon the events of this past week, and use your power to find the truth. It's elementary, right, Holmes? It's been fun playing Legendary Detective Otto. Ultimately, I wanted to save Saika. By the time I remembered it all, it was far too late. I never got to repay her. That leaves only one thing for me to do. Yes, it's time to strike back. It's up to you. Our home is threatened by the most atrocious tragedy yet. You must reverse the case of the Quartering Duke. Right, it's a promise. I swear to pave a way and resolve the Quartering Duke incidents. Make this vow to one I cannot see, the one who is everything to me. Okay, that was a lot. I half expected the game to end there, and then us to loop back to the beginning and save her in the beginning of the game and find the actual truth. But I guess we have to do something that will tie up loose ends. Before we do that, I'm gonna go make another drink. And I'm gonna catch up with Kevin, who just got home. So Give me a couple minutes, guys, and I will be back in probably like 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll do some more of this game. So, enjoy the tunes while I'm gone, and I'll see you in a bit.
Where are you?
What are you doing?
Hurry! Hurry! Hurry, hurry, hurry! Hurry, hurry! Our guests are about to arrive! We're way behind schedule.
I will roast you! The kitchen is closed.
Hurry, hurry! Our guests are about to arrive!
At times like this, you just have to act yourself. WWID.
It's funny, really. Give me some sugar.
We're way behind schedule.
No time to lose.
Yeah?
Help!
Owe needs no aid.
hun, sweetie, love, darling.
Nighthode, bring your shade.
Oh, hey, Jackie. Sorry, guys. Little bit of an emergency popped up. But things are good. Took care of it. So, yes, sorry. We will be continuing on with Process of Elimination. Apologies for the delay.
We're way behind schedule.
We're a little, no, we are not behind schedule, Ifrit. Okay, we are on the schedule. Just because it's super dark outside at 7 p.m. doesn't mean it's later than 7 p.m. Okay? 12-hour stream? We are literally doing a 12-hour stream today, yes. Oh! Okay, wait, my schedule, oh, that's not... I'll have a schedule next week, I promise. You know what, Tom? It's been a while since I failed the schedule check. I'm a very good scheduling ping tong now.
Get your act together!
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Look, I had a very shameful stream last night. I think that's the first time I've ever almost fallen asleep on camera.
At times like this, you just have to act yourself. WWID.
I ask myself that every day, as most of us do. We are fast approaching What I think this game is going to reset. And we are gonna have to solve the mystery. And by that I mean save Sholmes in the beginning of the game. I'm thinking that that's going to happen. So, anyway... Yeah, Fables, I streamed last night for 2 hours. We had our watch party, but I'd been up since 5:30 in the morning. I didn't sleep well the night before. I was up at 5:30, worked an 8-hour day, drank alcohol during the watch party, and then I started stream. And I literally, like, I'm not even kidding you, I almost, like, face planted into my desk twice. Because I was just sitting there and, like, phasing out of consciousness. So after 2 hours, I ended stream. It was 9:55 p.m. Then I sat in my chair and was like, I don't have energy to literally do anything. I climbed into bed at 10:15 and I fell asleep less than a minute later. And I got an amazing night's sleep. Like, I think I slept from 10 p.m. until 7 a.m. And then I got up and was spry and chipper. Delightful. Okay. Competent? Incompetent? Why did you suddenly go catatonic? You slept from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Oh my god. Yeah, unfortunately, I've become a morning person because of my job schedule. And I love my Friday night, like, I love the idea of Friday night streams, but sometimes when I get to the point where I'm booting stream up, I am so tired because I've been up for so many hours that it's just hard. Oh, sorry, how long have I been out of it? A minute, perhaps? Whatever is the matter, a lack of sleep or the like? Yeah, something along those lines. Maybe I had one of those waking dreams just now. Then again, whatever it was doesn't really matter. It isn't going to change what I have to do. Posh, I need you to trust me, please. Incompetent? I don't care if that was a dream, an illusion, or even a hallucination. All I know for certain is that it's too early to say we've resolved the paradox killings. I said it was Renegade who killed Workaholic, but I realize now that it's too early to draw that conclusion. Pardon? What are you suggesting? By any and all accounts, Renegade Detective simply must have been the culprit, no? Yeah, there's a lot of evidence that points to that fact, but there's one part of it that just doesn't make any sense. Something that makes no sense? Renegade was smiling when he died, but you'd think his imminent doom would have been something regrettable for him. He's fixated on taking responsibility for the lives he claims. He should have been in anguish over dying so soon after killing Workaholic. That is true, but it's because Renegade Detective tried so hard to kill me that I understand his mentality so well. The irony is almost too much. Oh, Thomas! Oh, hey, Thomas! Happy Saturday, welcome back. Much like Saika in my dream just now, the smile on his lifeless face showed not a single sign of regret. Something must have happened right before he died to give him that satisfaction. But there's no actual grounds for that, is there? One false step, and we may just walk into a trap laid by the enemy. And yet you still want us to keep investigating? You must be pretty convinced about something. Just in time to download Among Us and play later. Oh, I have asked Thomas several times to play Among Us, and he always says no. We ask that you show us something concrete, demanded the girl. I ask when you're at the club, will you live in a club? I'm sorry, but Doful is right. I don't have a solid basis for this. All I can say is that my detective senses are going off. Mystic taught me that there's a reason behind everything. Rowdy encouraged me to never waver once my mind is set. That was me holding a knife. Thanks to armor, I discovered how to find the strength to hold fast. Everything I've learned on Morgue is how I know, even if it's just a vague inkling now, that there's a hidden mystery behind Renegade's death. So, until help arrives, will you aid me in this just for a bit longer? I need time to think Renegade's death over. No, to think about everything that's happened here on this island. Everyone falls silent at my petition. Going off a totally unfounded hunch ought to disqualify me as a detective. Back when I first arrived, I'm sure they'd have all laughed at me. However, you incompetent, I'll lend my cooperation. I have total faith in your words, the girl said, offering a smile. I'm liking that look in your eyes, incompetent. So, sure, your honorary big sis is here to help. Let's catch the quartering duke together. As a matter of fact, I agree with you, incompetent. Even if there are risks involved, we need to keep investigating to ensure no one died in vain. Decide I trust you, incompetent. Just call me whenever you need my abilities. Need I remind you that I am the chief here? You ragtags and bobtails always forget your place. But very well, it would be inexcusable for a superior to disregard an eager subordinate. And so, I shall assist you in my capacity as chief. Know that we will uncover the truth, for the sake of all who have perished. Everyone, thank you. I'm still so inexperienced, I could never call myself an ideal detective. Incompetent is a much, much more appropriate word for me. But I'm not alone. I have friends I can trust. We've survived through life and death ordeals together, after all. Even as we go up against the most fearsome serial killer of all time, I'm not afraid, so long as they're with me. Alright guys, it's time to reverse every tragedy that's occurred on this island. With that, we make a decision to revisit every case that's happened up till now. But not one moment later, we receive an unexpected transmission. Everyone, it's a message from the DA headquarters. But I thought we had no signal. There must be a ship equipped with a comms system near the island. Thank goodness we made our way up to the surface. I'll open the message up right away. Everyone clusters around Techie, looking at the laptop balanced atop his knees. Displayed on the screen is a brief order. There's no further need to investigate the quartering duke case. Help is on the way, so we're to sit here and do nothing. Perhaps we had yet to see how deeply the malice surrounding the quartering swirls. Well, that's interesting. Gamer score up! Good night, evening, and day, citizens. 'Tis I, your grace, the Quartering Duke, still without any past felonies on my record. I've been live casting this Quartering Corner for days now, but sadly the next installment will be our last. Soon I'll be back to normal dukehood. For our momentous final episode, I'll discuss the talk of the town, those obsessive stalkers of mine, the Detective Alliance. They're seen as heroes online, with folks touting them as defenders of justice. But who are they really? You're dying to know, eh? Loyal viewers? Hehehe, to put it simply, they're what shits out. Their criminal organization was formerly another, one sanctioned to investigate the dayless night. It may seem hypocritical, but their evil sickens me. 10 years ago, they kidnapped children for human experiments to artificially create exceptional detectives, such as the famed Ideal Detective. I too was subjected to the horrors of the secret police, the DA's precursor, and gained superhuman powers. Then I decided I waited a decade to exact revenge. When the opportunity finally came, your grace made meticulous plans to annihilate them all. Plans which I'm carrying out as we speak. I'm sure their HQ is the very picture of chaos right now. Just the thought of it strikes my heart like breaking a vase. So, this is being read like the Quartering Duke isn't with them. What does that mean? That none of the detectives in the group are the Quartering Duke. That would be a really lackluster ending, if that's true. What? Don't buy it? Yeah, fine, I get it. Seeing is believing. Thankfully, your grace resides in reality, so now I'm scrambling around their HQ. Oh. In our next installment, I promise to present you with the emotionally riveting and exceptionally damning evidence I found there. I don't believe it! This is the moment where the heroes of justice become the foulest villains this world has ever known. Best entertainment ever, am I right? To all the ladies and gentlemen of the Alliance tuning in, if you hope to stop your grace, then I invite you to do so. Not that you'll be able to. We finally received word from headquarters. They urged all the detectives still remaining on the island not to investigate any further. Attached to the message is a video of Quartering Duke's latest irrelevant broadcasts. I include this video. Could this mean the Duke's on the island with us right now? Seems pretty likely. That's the most obvious reason they'd request us to stop investigating. Either that, or HQ has gotten their hands on some important intel. What kind of intel exactly? What would make them go out of their way to stop us from investigating like this? I believe this message came directly from founding detective Vidocq, the Alliance's institutor and highest-ranking detective. It's utterly devoid of humanity as per usual. To think he didn't include even a single word of concern for those of us remaining. So, what shall we do now? Judging by the live cast, it's possible that the Duke is among us. It may be in our best interest not to be hasty, the girl said sourly. Yeah, it's serious enough for HQ to contact us, so they must have a good reason. Even so, we can't sit idly by. Let's keep up the search like we planned. True to form, my #1 subordinate, a most excellent remark. We've no obligation to obey their orders. Come now, let us resume our investigation. Do you guys notice that the elevator behind them is open now? In the previous shot, we saw an elevator in the background with a blood splatter on it, but now it's open. Will that really be okay? The girl asked in full earnest. Why, of course, naturally. Vidocq may be a remarkable detective, but as a person he's outright heartless. Lost so many allies, yet we're expected to stand by and twiddle our thumbs? Poppycock, I say. I'm with Posh on this. As it stands, our experiences on this island hold far too many unresolved questions. For example, why bother summoning us detectives here to begin with? Why didn't the staff at Snarks resist the attack? And who actually killed Senior Detective? The Alliance can tell us no as many times as they want. We have to keep moving forward, for the sake of all those we've lost. Okay, let's cool our heads a bit. Gourmet approaches the group, carrying a tray with enough soup for everyone. Enthusiasm is... Where did she make soup? Enthusiasm is good, but we're not running on empty. With a new phase of our investigation underway, why don't we refuel first? Good point. Thanks, Gourmet. Oh my! Is this Ryuguin brand? I simply adore their Masutake soup. I found some bread too. Let me go toast it. In the meantime, feel free to have a bowl and warm yourselves up. We graciously accept the meal, helping ourselves to soup as we lounge on the lobby sofas. Hey Grins, how you doing? The mushroom's flavor is pungent, blending in nicely with the bonito flavors and kombu broth. A pleasant feeling envelops my tired body. Oh no. The way they are supposed to be amazing detectives and they literally fell for the most elementary of tricks. My mind starts wandering.
The kitchen is closed.
Either that, or I must be really spent the way my eyes start. Then I notice the others. Fucking... Okay. Did we not say Gourmet Detective is the last of them? God damn it. Did this video game make another evil Russian character? What? Tell me. An alarm bell goes off in my head, but nonetheless, my consciousness remains unroused as my eyelids grow heavier still. Through my hazy field of vision, I spot Gourmet in the distance. I can only vaguely make out her expression, but even so, I feel an intensity about her that I've never seen before. Drug the soup. Sorry, incompetent. This too is for the greater good. Those are the last words I hear before my consciousness fades to nothing.
It's funny, really.
I awake with my head in agony. Seems I keeled over and passed out on the sofa. My arm is still not asleep. Why is the elevator closed again? With a start, I immediately recall what had just happened prior. Oh right, Gourmet. Why did you put us to sleep with that soup? Give me a chance to explain. Gourmet is seated on the sofa opposite me, wearing her usual smile. The other detectives gradually come to, probably thanks to all my yelling. That's my tuna salad! Huh? Where's my sandwich? Came from the moment she was. Give me a break. The girl grumbled as she rubbed her groggy eyes. What? Did I fall asleep? Why does my chest feel all funny? Isn't this one of those collars that... Oh.
正解よ、飛脚ちゃん。察しが良くてお姉さん嬉しいわ。
Spot on, Dolfo. Such a smart guess. You make your big sister so proud. Following suit, I inspect my own chest and find a device similar to Renegade's clamped onto me. Unlike the one Renegade had used on Posh, this particular device seems much harder to remove. I helped myself to Renegade's spoils and attached those collars to you while you were dozing away. Then I borrowed Incompetent's D-pad and sent a command, so they'll detonate after 2 more entries. Why are you doing this? Don't tell me you're the quartering Duke. I don't know what you're thinking, but even if you've collared us, it's pointless when you've no means of issuing the remaining commands. Incompetent is the only authorized observer at present. We never recovered Ideal or her D-pad, and the electrocution shorted on Workaholics. Without the requisite commands, these collars were mere accessories, an empty threat. Actually, you're wrong. It wasn't Ideal who issued a command to Renegade. It was me. What? I blurt out in spite of myself. It's true. We had just assumed Holmes was an observer, but never found any evidence proving that. I think Gourmet had been one all along. At that moment, the device on my chest beeps, as if to mock my revelation. Hear that? That was your caller receiving a new command. As you can see, I am indeed an observer, authorized to issue them as I please. Just one more command and you'll go boom. If my heart stops and pulls that final trigger, it's curtains for everyone. Why would you do something so... Being an observer means that you hold an executive position in the Alliance, like Workaholic did. Are you here on orders from HQ by chance? Alliance headquarters? Don't be... Excellent guess, Techie. That's exactly right. Yep, same as Ideal and Workaholic, I'm involved with the DA's management. I'm more or less the coordinator of our anti-Duke conference here. My role was simple. I was to blend into the group, weed out anyone suspicious, and restrain them if needed. No killing involved, unlike Workaholic. But why were you a coordinator? Did you already suspect the quartering Duke was one of us? Yep, exactly. Barring a few exceptions, each member here possesses special abilities and would have been below age 10 times... Oh, below age 10 at the time of the experiments. According to our past data, there was no doubt the Duke was among the group of detectives brought to this island. Can you be so confident ordering Duke is part of the Alliance? Good question. It's because without fail, every location where the Duke's victims were found had been previously investigated by the DA. What? Still, there were no commonalities between the members dispatched to those areas, leaving us with nothing that links to the Duke directly. Why would you keep such an important fact to yourself the whole time? To avoid causing a commotion, vague, inconclusive intel can only lead to unnecessary chaos, right? You learned without a doubt that the Duke was among us. All hell would break loose. During that first case with Senior, I was afraid that the Duke's presence in our group would be brought to light, but Ideal's follow-up came to the rescue. I mean, no offense, but haven't we known that the Duke was in our group? That's true enough. We'd already been jumping at our own shadows. Had we started pointing fingers, our teamwork crumbled. Which is exactly why Saika suggested that the Duke could have still been learning. I'm grasping the situation now, but what's the deal with these callers? Are you really going to obey HQ's orders and force us to wait here until backup arrives? Don't worry, incompetent. It's actually just the opposite. Again? We're ignoring HQ's orders. We have one day until backup arrives, so let's root out that quartering Duke. But if we fail, I'm taking all of you down with me. I'm not letting the quartering Duke off this island, even if it costs me my life. So she's not bad. She's not a bad guy. I am shocked. Does that mean it's doleful? She intends to detonate these collars if it's the last thing she ever does. The girl said, glaring daggers at Grim Detective. I misjudged you before. What reason is there to resort to such drastic measures? It isn't as if we would try to run or hide. Why not explain the situation rather than threaten us outright? The girl questioned angrily. Sorry, Bookworm, I didn't feel that alone would cut it. Taught me something before, incompetent. Me? Was it? Never waver with my convictions. Ever since losing Rowdy, I've vowed to kill you, no matter the cost. May cracks a smile even cooler than ice. The lights left her eyes. As her mouth curls upward, she seems almost crazed. Truth is, Workaholic contacted me via D-pad on our first night in the underground research facility. He asked me to send a command to Renegade's caller. I complied at once. There was a decent chance Renegade was the Duke. Plus, he was ultimately responsible for Rowdy's death. Oh, and the reason Workaholic was in such a sorry state when he died is because I had to punish the one who... So she killed Workaholic. Okay. Rescinding our previous comment that she's not a bad person. It's funny, really. She admits these horrifying facts like it's nothing. She always seemed so serene. You mean it was an act? I'm shocked by the brutality lurking beneath the facade. Why are you going to such extremes? Rowdy, she wouldn't have wanted this.
I will roast you!
Yes, I know, but this is for my own satisfaction. She wasn't a candidate for being the Duke, but when she asked to come, I couldn't say no. I brought her to morgue, so now I've got to repent however I can. More than anything, though, I want to prevent another Dayless Night incident from occurring. Prevent another Dayless Night incident? That's right, Renegade did mention you were a victim of it yourself, but how is that related? Ah, so you knew. Yep, that's right. I still haven't been able to forget how tragic it all was. Due to the terrorist attack that day, I wound up pinned down under rubble for around half a month. I survived by eating dirt, rubber, iron, anything. Everyone else trapped with me had died, and even now my stomach still pangs with constant hunger. That's not really, like, how bodies work. You can't just eat things that are devoid of nutrition and still live. Also, how do you eat iron? She's on the Bunei diet? I don't know if okay. For the sake of the narrative, let's just ignore this. Never again. I won't accept another disaster like that, robbing people of their freedom to eat with relish. We can't allow tragedy to repeat itself. So under no circumstances am I letting the Duke off this island. Who cares what HQ has to say? I'm finding him and you're all going to help. Gourmet dons a deadly serious expression, yet in spite of that, Posh approaches her meekly, as I wonder what she means to do. She slapped her. Posh forcefully smacks Gourmet across the face. This is no time to be stating the obvious. Posh, we were already determined to risk our lives in pursuit of the Duke without your orders, even going as far as to accessorize us so crudely. You busybody, you! That's Posh for you. We had all been cowed by Gourmet's intimidating aura, but now we can't help ourselves from laughing. Posh is absolutely right. I said so too, didn't I? From the moment we received HQ's orders, I had no intention of following them. Oh my f***ing god. Then... make her take the collars off, please. They literally had this conversation before she drugged them. You made her resolve crystal clear, Gourmet. Let's corner the Duke before our time runs out, by any means necessary. I get where you're coming from, Gourmet, but these collars are dangerous. We don't even know for sure that the Duke is here. You think it's someone else? Could another person still be on this island? It's possible. Not to mention, someone we thought had died could still be alive, right? This is the quartering Duke we're talking about. We shouldn't be surprised by any unexpected twists. As doleful detective stated, your actions have been far too risky, the girl said, with a sigh of exasperation. But I'm glad you've revealed your true nature. Something about you seemed off. Let's continue our search until the end, Gourmet detective. You guys... I expected as much, but it seems we're all in agreement. I'll help too, Gourmet. I won't let you or anyone else die. In light of that, though, will you share whatever you can tell us about the Duke? Got it. Sorry for tricking you all. As I said, take the collar off! There's no doubt the Duke was among the detectives called to this meeting. Records from the secret police's experiments confirm this much. Title aside, their gender is unknown. No photos of them remain, and they likely had cosmetic surgery, seeing as even workaholic, only recognized renegade. So essentially, you know absolutely nothing? Easy now. That was probably the reason this meeting was called, to order in the first place. Exactly, incompetent. We have very few leads to go off. So suffice it to say, I'm also on edge. Oh, Armin Caesar. I don't know why HQ ordered we'd stop, but I refuse to sit idly by. Even if it meant threatening you all, I had to keep this investigation going. If we're looking for clues, maybe we can start there, said the girl, pointing outside. What, outside? Follow her pointing finger and finally come to a vital realization. That black SPX near the heliport is gone. Yes, we should be able to look around outside now, correct? Yeah, good looking out, Nora. We can always count on you. The girl chuckled, puffing out her chest with pride. It's still light out, so we shouldn't be caught off guard. Yeah, I'm not sensing any threats at the moment either. We should be safe if we head out now. With how massive that SPX is, we should notice it first. But nevertheless, let's keep a close watch on our surroundings, shall we? Where are we headed first? Is it not obvious? Posh lets out a sigh before continuing. Our first priority is recovering Ideal's body. She's a lady, after all. Leaving her exposed to the elements is unthinkable. Why, pray tell, is your jaw agape? No, it's just that you're not usually so thoughtful. It was a little shocking, is all. You may be a fool, but you're surprisingly empathetic. Though, a fool regardless, said the girl, offering Posh her nice praise. Beg pardon, who's calling who a fool, you fool? It totally slipped my mind. Saika's been out there ever since she was dismembered. She's probably in a terrible state, considering that it's been a week, but I still want to give her a proper burial. Not out of professional obligation, but because she's my friend. Thanks, Posh. I'll lend a hand too. It'd make me happy if we could keep our Ideal's body safe until Zach arrives.
そんなのお安いご用ですわ。
No trouble at all. We will fetch her at once. Now, follow my lead, everyone. With Posh at the forefront, we waste no time exiting the research facility.
最後
I made some good allies in
に
the end,
仲間で
Psycho.
暴走
I'm sorry for being so reckless, but come what may, I swear to avenge you.
でも必ずあなた
22 hours remain until our detonate. Take the collars off them! It's been far too long. The blue skies, the warmth of the sun, the cool summer breeze caressing my skin. How wonderfully refreshing.
家族さん
Posh, you might want to keep your voice down.
外に出るだけで
Inside
テン
excites
ショ
you
ン
this
が
much.
上がると
She may as well be a dog that
犬と変わ
wins.
りませんね。
Sighing disgust. Nevertheless, Posh takes the lead, laughing in high spirits as we walk out of the building. It's our first time outside in about a week. While Posh's behavior may seem over the top, I honestly feel like jumping the door myself. I'm sure the others must feel the same. All got some much-needed color on our faces compared to in the facility.
よし。
Okay, yeah, I'm not sensing the black SPX. Maybe it's circling the manor like it was when we
洋館
first
の
got
周
here.
りをうろ
よし
Alright,
じゃあこ
then
の先の
let's
山道
follow
に
the
向かって
mountain's path
ホームズさんの
up ahead
家を
and
探
search
そう
for
か
Holmes's body.
くんくん
Smells like it rained a bit ago.
だからちょっと地面がぬかるん
That
で感
must
じ
be
るんで
why
す
the
ね。
ground has
少
some
し
give to
タイ
it.
ヤが空
My
回り気味
wheels
なので
keep spinning in
車椅
place.
子を押し
Would
てもらって
anyone
も
mind
いい
giving
です
me a
か？
push?
えもち
Sure,
ろ
no
んよ
problem. Leave it to your big
お
sis.
ね
Just going to bomb you all because I put detonating collars on you. Gourmet pushes Techie's chair happily as they continue onward. Nice. I wondered what would become of our team. Seems all the commotion with the collars earlier wasn't affecting too much. So, here's the problem. Out of everybody left, I figured only Gourmet could be Quartering Duke if it's not Ideal. But if one of them is actually it, I don't know who it is. It would have to be Doleful. I don't think it's Techie, I don't think it's Bookie, I don't think it's Posh. That literally just leaves Doleful. Do we know ages? Age 17. Her age is not listed. His age is not listed. Oh. So it actually shows added information. It says her name right there. Ariel Allen Pinkerton. 21. Oh shit, this is new info. Why is hers complete? Oh god. So, his is updated, but not complete. Rio Gray. also complete. And also 17 years old, the same age as the MC. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay, so stonks in it possibly being doleful just went up. Heki is 12? Yeah. So Teki and Bookworm are literally too young to be the Quartering Duke, which we already didn't suspect them, but that's just like, it further proves. I'm more concerned with the characters that don't have complete profiles. Oh, she's also too young, but I mean, she's dead, so it doesn't matter. So, we have about half the characters' pages filled out. What does it mean? Even so, Gourmet is resolute. If backup arrives before we can finish our investigation, I think she's serious about detonating these collars. No matter what it takes, we need to find a clue to the Duke's true identity before that time arrives. We keep our eyes peeled as we head toward the mountain road, to no avail. Before long, we arrive at the fateful path where we fought off the black SPX. 1 week ago in this very spot, Psycho was... competent? Okay there? Dolful supports me as I begin to stagger. Thanks, Dolful. I've been psyching myself up, but coming back here really hits hard. Yeah, when I think about what happened that night, my chest feels like it's about to burst. It's already been over a week since Ideal was killed by that SPX, I mean. Thinking back, all this turmoil really started with Saika's sudden demise. And now here we are, 7 days later. Downtown's phantom killing, Workaholics' semi-sealed cell, Renegade's scheme in the maze, Paradox murders in the underground facility. It's 4 mysteries solved. Back then, we didn't know the Black Mech was an SPX sentry, nor did we know about the existence of the secret police. But things are different now. We should be able to solve the riddles we couldn't. Let's find the truth and avenge our friends. Yeah, let's! Incompetent! The strangest thing happened! Posh, who had gone off ahead, suddenly comes racing back with a fretful expression. I found what appears to be traces of blood, but Ideal's body, the target of our recovery mission, is nowhere to be seen. Okay, do I bounce back to my other theory that Ideal is the Quartering Duke? I feel like they were steering us hard away from that. Holmes's body is gone? Why? Her blood's still there, so how? There's no scent of rot either. She was likely carried off either before or during the rain. The body didn't leave any trails when it was moved. So the blood was probably completely dry already, which means it must have happened after we'd been locked in the manor for 3 days or more. No, with rain it would have been 2 at most. By whom? For what purpose? Is there a chance that perhaps Ideal Detective's death was staged? Yes! 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 Bookworm, who had been standing a fair distance back so as to avoid seeing the body, comes striding toward me. In mysteries, it's not unheard of for one of the killed in the prologue to be the mastermind all along. Said the girl, slightly colored by bias. I will not talk about what game that might be true of. Just one moment, Bookworm. You mustn't say such things so heedlessly. As far as I'm aware, Ideal really was killed. Scent of blood is undeniable. I may have been a ways off, but I don't think I'm wrong. I'm with them. There's no question that Ideal got sliced all over. It's hard to imagine she could survive with wounds like those. Plus, we have Armor's word to go off. I am starting to feel like this is going to be our initial theory. I witnessed the moment she died with my own eyes. Her death was too intense, too vivid to question. There's no way I saw it wrong. It wasn't faked. But one thing's for certain, the body's gone. Just who could have moved it and to what end? We searched the area around the bloodstains, but nothing sticks out. Though I'd already figured as much, it doesn't seem the body is anywhere nearby. Our investigation has already hit a snag. We've got 21 hours until the rescue team arrives. Let's hurry and find whoever carried off Ideal. If there's a culprit behind us, killing us with these collars would be senseless. We'll lend you our aid regardless, so release us already. Sorry, no can do. It's true that the quartering duke may not be one of us, but if he is, I'd be letting him go from right under my nose. Unless we discover the duke's true identity, none of us are leaving this place alive. That fact won't change no matter how much I adore you. Why don't we just resume our investigation after leaving work? Sure, we're all suspects, but couldn't we just weed out the culprit among us? Would that it was so simple. Even after all we've been through, we still haven't learned a thing about the quartering dukes, have we? All we know is that Renegade killed Workaholic, then died himself. As it stands, it'll be assumed that Renegade was the Duke. Case closed. Maybe that's for the best. Thinking back, Renegade was already the most likely candidate for being the Duke anyway. No one else seems suspicious, so I don't think there's much we can do about him getting pegged as the culprit. True enough, he's definitely the most convincing option. He'd also be the easiest to present to the public. A former murderer masterminding a new incident. That's exactly my point. Things will end with Renegade branded as the quartering duke, all without confirming the actual truth of the matter. What are you talking about? Wouldn't it be irresponsible to do that without verifying all the facts first? No, I'm afraid that isn't likely. The scale of this incident makes it undesirable for officials to wave it off and admit they were baffled. It's quite conceivable that they would settle for a passable, if remiss, conclusion, so as to save face, as an organization and stem nationwide panic. You're kidding me. What kind of detectives would do something like that? It's what all detectives do, incompetent. You know about the Pinkertons, right? This line of work involves plenty that can't be discussed openly, so obscuring the truth isn't unheard of. Real-life detectives aren't like the characters you read about in novels. They aren't putting on a show with brilliant statements of fact. But... Yesterday, I was shown a horrific vision of the quartering duke's future victims. A half-baked explanation won't be enough to stop him. In fact, he could take advantage of the DA's misinformation to cause further havoc unchecked. Rome's concern is definitely warranted. In short, We don't find a clue pertaining to the Duke's identity before help arrives, the true mastermind may get away scot-free, said the girl. These collars are a plan B to keep the Duke from leaving the island. We're willing to literally give your life to stop him, huh, Gourmet?
ええ、その通りよ。
You bet I am.
恨んでく
Hate
れと
me
いい
for
わ。
all you want, for it all you want.
隙があれば私
Try to
を出し抜
outsmart
け
or
ばいい
even
し、
kill me if you've
で
got what
き
it
るもそ
takes.
れで
It
も
doesn't
私
matter.
はみんな
I'm
を巻
dragging
き
you
込んで
all
でも
down with me.
世界のため
I
に
want to
戦
fight
い
for
た
the
いの。
sake of the world.
死んでいった。
For the sake of
みん
everyone
な
we've
のためにも
lost.
諦めるつもりなんて
We won't quit now.
ありません
Not for anything.
必ず
I swear we'll uncover the
八崎
Duke
公の
of
正
the
体を暴いてみせましょう
We'll uncover the truth of the quartering Duke. Come hell or high water. And come they will. There are only 21 hours left for us to uncover the truth. We need to find the Duke by any means necessary. To do that, there's one place we should start.
ひとまず
For
ホー
now,
ムズさんの死体
let's
がどこ
figure
へ消
out
えたか
where
につい
Holmes's
て
body disappeared
犯人
to.
は別に
Culprit didn't
煙の
just
ように
vanish
消
into
えたわけじゃ
thin air.
ないんだ
They came here and took
この
her
場所の
elsewhere.
行き先の手がかりは
Okay,
必ず残っている
let's search
はず
the
なんだ
area and find the body of the real armor detective, and then figure out that Holmes was inside the armor and is currently at large because she fell down into an abyss. At my behest, the others begin searching our surroundings. Whoever took Holmes's body is, beyond a doubt, our prime candidate, Duke. I zero in my senses, doing my best to take in the entire scene, just the bloodstains, and then...
武装さん
I fucking knew it! Okay. Calm down. In visual novels, there is always a mystery with characters with obscured faces. There was the line in chapter 1 about, oh, any good detective should be able to disguise their voice as anyone they want, which is insane, but that was said. Armor? Huh? Where is he? What? He's right next to you, Techie. Can't you see him?
見えないの
What? How could-
何を非科学的なことを言ってるんですか。僕を怖がらせようたってそうはいきませんよ。
Are they proving my theory right now? She's been inside Armor Detective this whole time. We called this shit in chapter 2. Maybe even chapter 1. How could you say something so wholly unscientific? You're not gonna scare me, okay? No, really.
自分の調査に
I'll be
戻らせて
getting
いただ
back
き
to
ま
my
す。
investigation.
そ
See
れで
you.
は
Techie puffs his cheeks ever so slightly in apparent annoyance, then returns to the area he'd been inspecting prior. But even though he should be dead, Armor's still there, unmoving and unresponsive. What in the world is going on?
No.
Suddenly, Armor approaches the bloodstains left by Saika and lifts what I can assume is her dead body off the ground. Wait. It could also be that Armor Detective is just the quartering Duke, and it's not Saika.
Hello.
Hey, Rosen, what's up? We are actually getting to the meat of this game right now. And I'm actually pretty invested. His face was scarred in the past, so he refuses to remove his helmet. Fuck. What I'm seeing, could it be? Is this a vision of the past? I've only seen the future until now, so what am I supposed to make of this? No, wait. I've encountered residual thoughts at crime scenes before, and those gave me glimpses of the past. Maybe this is the same. What was it Saika said at the end? That denouement doesn't predict the future, but rather sees all. She said to reflect back on everything that's happened so far. Could this be what she meant? So as I continue to focus my eyes, I notice something in the shadows of the tall grass. It's a footprint, which has now begun to dry. Judging by the size and shape, it's clearly armor's. Maybe I saw it subconsciously, and my mind visualized how things played out. It's just like Sherlock Holmes's specialty, abductive reasoning. By reading traces of the past, I can infer what took place. So Armor really did move Saika's body. How is he even here or alive in the first place? I have millions of questions, but mulling over them in my head won't get us anywhere. I've got to tell the others about my discovery. Yo, Phil. Happy Saturday. I'm gonna grab another drink soon. How's the night going? How's the wine? Happy Not Sober Saturday? Wonderful, me too. Hey, the Sandra cake is happening in 3 months, and I'm very excited. We are gonna be so dumb when we are drunk together. And I cannot wait. Come here, guys, I found a footprint. Our Kwanzaa cake is gonna be perfect. I'm just thinking about how it's gonna taste. It's just gonna taste like cinnamon frosting. Yeah, no one can leave it until it's fully eaten. Don't worry, Tux told me he wants a huge piece. With extra table candle. This print, it doesn't seem like it's been here long. I wonder why there's only one. Maybe because the ground's still damp from the rain. Artisanal candles. I don't know where we're gonna get the candles, if I'm being honest. Like, where can we buy gaudy table candles? Is that something you can bring in a suitcase? We could look in local shops actually. I must have stopped when the culprit came to retrieve Ideal's body, but once they did, it picked up again, forcing them to seek shelter. Well, here's the thing, Phil. If you have an idea of where gaudy table candles would be, go for it. If not, we will find some, and they will be included in the Kwanzaa cake. As a result, their foot sank into the muddied ground here. Find the worst candles, yes. It's just gonna be so fun. What do you want to drink while we have it? We can make the Passionate Dream. I had the Passionate Dream on my 32nd birthday. It was actually not bad, somehow. Okay. Yeah, we can do the Passionate Dream. It's like, it attempts to be low-cal. she like includes something with it that was like, she like had one sugar-free ingredient and then something with a ton of sugar. I don't remember the exact recipe, but it was just such a Sandra moment. Leaving a mark would have been practically unavoidable on damp soil, given that they were walking with the weight of 2 people. Shall we follow these tracks to their owner then? The girl suggested. Yummy Yelly, is that you? Do you have any guesses which way they went, Bookworm? Whoever made them. I thought you had already noticed, considering the size of the print. It could only have been armor, said the girl, feeling somewhat snide. Oh yeah, I guess, of course I did. That's Bookworm for you. I tried to avoid bringing up the fact myself, but plain as day to her. Armor created this footprint. You can surmise that he accessed the area by riding the helipad up from the underground maze to the surface. So it stands to reason that our next areas of investigation should be the heliport and maze in question, girl stated simply. Armor? Would he really be alive? I'm so happy to hear it, but the elephant in the room is how. And why come back to the surface to take Holmes's body? Gourmet asks what we'd all been wondering. If he managed to survive, the natural course of action would be to contact us and regroup. Oh, honey. For what purpose is he acting so secretively? The only way to find out is to ask him directly. I wonder why Armor moves the body. We should hear it from the man himself. Whatever the case, fretting it over... Typo! Right now wouldn't get us anywhere. It should be fretting over it right now. Oh guys, come, let us head for the labyrinth via the heliport. We may be able to follow his trail, or perhaps find a clue to his destination. We return once more to the heliport. Following Pasha's orders, I make sure we're all clustered in the center of the circular landing pad. I stand in front of the control panel, initiating the necessary operations. First, I release the lock, and then I just have to flip the switch to make it descend. It's so easy I could do it in my sleep. The panel's kind of a ways from the platform though, meaning I've got to book it once I'm done so everyone doesn't go down without me. A bit nerve-wracking, to say the least. Oh, wait a second, Competent. It looks like the heliport's controls can actually be operated via D-pad. Seriously? Thank goodness, I wasn't feeling too sure about risking it. Not too long after, I see my D-pad notify me of external devices ready to connect, followed by what seems to be the heliport's name. It's probably set to display when the lock is released. I hurry and connect my D-pad to the control panel. I join the others on the landing pad, tap the screen of my device, and watch as the circular floor beneath us dips downward. The ride takes a little under 10 minutes. The helipad stops its descent, arriving in the underground hangar where we spent the night a few days prior. What will we be investigating down in the labyrinth, Incompetent? Typical. Always playing chief, then leaving it to others when the going gets rough, the girl said, struck in reverent awe over Posh Detective. Well, excuse me. Frankly, I haven't a clue what to do at this point. This is an order from your chief, Incompetent. Take over and lead the DA in my stead. Seems you've turned over too, the girl said with a small, exasperated sigh. Thanks, Posh. I'll do my best to get our investigation off to a good start. Scan the area, deciding where. Our top priority is finding some clue as to Armor's current whereabouts, but there are still other questions to look into. For example, how did Armor survive in the first place? Why did he go to the surface and take Saika's body away? Plus, there's one other thing that bothers me. Did the black SPX used to track us? Each model of SPX has unique sensors which allow them to chase us relentlessly. Now that I think about it, the black SPX did behave similarly to the red one. A closer examination might reveal something. Just taking a quick glance, it doesn't seem like anything's changed since last time.
ヘリポートに泥を
I
払
found
ったよう
traces
な
of what
跡を
seemed
見
to
つ
be
けた
mud, both on the helipad and beyond it, so I think we can say for sure that he came down here.
そこから
The
先の
footprint
足跡は
stops a
残
while
ってなさ
after a
そう
while
だね
though.
美食さん泥の
Would
匂いを
tracking the
追う
scent
こと
of the
は
mud be
難しいですか
viable, gourmet?
試してみた
I
のだ
tried,
け
but
れど
sadly, I couldn't
残り
bring
がは嗅ぎ
up
取れ
any
なかったわ
traces. There's not a
そ
lot
もそも
to
が
begin with,
あまり
so
目
the
立ったよ
odor
うでも
was
ない
already pretty faint.
あらちょ
Hold
っ
on,
と
I'm
待
smelling
って
something unusual over that
何
way.
か
She points in the direction opposite to the research facility, the path leading to the horrific winding labyrinth.
妙な匂
Something
い
unusual?
ええ
Yes,
例え
it
るなら
smells kind of like my
そう
blender just
ショ
shorted
ート
out.
した家電製品みたいな匂い
Not
ね
even a little appetizing.
全
食べ物じゃないですから、
Yeah, definitely isn't food. I start to feel uneasy. What will be awaiting us up ahead?
この先には武装さんが落下した
That
例
pit
のトラッ
armor
プもあ
fell
ります
into
し
is nearby.
まずはそちらの捜索から始めてみましょうか。
Okay, this is gonna be good. Give me a quick second, guys, just to run to the bathroom and grab another drink. I'll be right back.
Hun, sweetie, love, darling.
Okay, yes, I'm here. And I have my drink. We're gonna do, like, a little bit more of this. Let's see if we can get to a good time. Oh, it's Kitty. What's up, Kitty? I'm gonna get to a stopping point with this, and then it's Among Us time. Kitty, I assume that is you knew. Yes. Amogus Spore. Nothing. You know what? We are about to open a can of worms. This part of the game is honestly very interesting. But I think we save it for tomorrow. And we begin the shenanigans. I think we might be at the final part of this game, you guys. Final chapter! Yeah, finale tomorrow for this game, I think. Phoenix Wright next week? Oh shit, I gotta buy it, story. I do think there will be a brief, like, return to the beginning of the game and don't let Sholmes die thing. I just have a feeling. Cause, so like, certain characters' pages have this mark on it that says complete. And I feel like there's probably another route that completes everything. So, there might be another 2 streams of this game. Maybe tomorrow's not exactly the finale. But yeah, the lineup is this game, and then Ace Attorney, and then Ghost Trick. Those are the upcoming VNs. And at any time in that lineup, I will take a break to stream Eden's Garden whenever Chapter 1 drops. Yeah, you know, I go through these games at a snail's pace story time, so you've got time, but like, just keep it in mind. Ghost Trick is happening. And it's another one of those games where I've heard almost nothing bad about. Eden's Garden is still a thing. I don't know why they have not given us any update. Like, they said they were releasing in fall, and like, here we are. We had fall 2024, and like, where is Eden's Garden Chapter 1? Can anyone tell me? Alright, we're setting up for Among Us, guys. It's time. I hope I die early because I want to go heat up food to eat. Because I realized on my last break that I was like really hungry. Let me get the lineup here. Saturday night. Pengen. Rompa. Let's get the playlists.